England's two newest players have been on the Wembley pitch together before. David Roecastle, whose debut tonight is being watched by his mother, his brother and his girlfriend, was here with Arsenal for last season's Littlewoods Cup final when Mick Harford played in the winning team for Luton Town. Well, tonight Harford is the deputy for Gary Lineker, but Peter Beardsley passed a fitness test this morning, so he takes his place at number 10, which means that Tony Cottee is on the bench along with three uncapped players, Des Walker, Paul Gascoigne and Paul Davis. Bobby Robson and his opposite numbers, Sepp Piontek, have agreed they can use up to 4 substitutes. Piontek, meanwhile, has completely overhauled his squad since the European Championship. Missing now are names like Elkjaer, Lerby, Morton and Jesper Olsen, and it's essentially a home-based team with only 2 exiles, Michael Laudrup of Juventus and Jan Molby of Liverpool, both of whom we could see in midfield tonight. Alex Ponnet from Belgium was also the referee when Denmark won here 1-0 in a European Championship qualifier 5 years ago, their only victory to date in 9 games against England. Well, that night there were 82,000 people here. Tonight, as expected, the crowd is sparse. And so too in 1 or 2 patches is the pitch, because there's been an awful lot of activity here at Wembley, not all of it football, following one of the wettest summers on record. Denmark in red, playing with the sweeper there, Lars Olsen. But I'm assured by the Wembley authorities that by the time Sweden come here in 5 weeks' time for the World Cup match, the pitch will be back to its best. Already a stumble there for Tony Adams, and a foul. 10 is Elstrup. Beardsley couldn't reach that. Number 2 is Jensen, making his first appearance for Denmark tonight. Molby was the player fouled. You'll find the Danish plan is to play Michael Laudrup a little deeper than we've expected to see him in the past, leaving Vilfort and Elstrup as the 2 main strikers. Here's Laudrup, in fact. And there goes Elstrup. And Laudrup comes from midfield early on and it hits the post. Well, the plan to bring him from midfield almost worked at the very start because he wasn't picked up. Peter Shilton might remember that in that match 5 years ago, Laudrup very nearly scored in the opening minute then, and it was almost a case of déjà vu. So an early scare there for England, but here's Bryan Robson, and that was dipping. Robson will be relieved that England didn't go a goal down here in Denmark's first attack. Elstrup turned the ball into the path of Laudrup, who was away from Adams and just with the outside of the foot clipped the post. It's quite clear that Laudrup is going to come from that midfield spot. And this is Helt. Vilfort. Beardsley's touch to Robson. But now Vilfort for Denmark. Laudrup, and they've got players away on the right. One of them is Jensen here. Laudrup again. Helps. Back again to Jensen. Molby. That's going to be a corner. And the Danes normally send forward their number 3, Kent Nielsen, for these. Although the man who takes it, Bartram, tends to whip them in with his left foot. They've got two players in the near post area there. And Shilton had to come to meet one of them. Mulvey's there. And away by Stevens. Here's Beardsley. And Webb and Roecastle. Harford's coming in from the far side now. Oh, good save. And here's Hodge. And it's a corner. Well, Troels Rasmussen, the goalkeeper, saved Denmark there. He read what Mick Harford was going to do. And England have to settle for a corner kick to be taken by Neil Webb. Adams and Butcher both in there. And Adams goes in, and there's a foul. Well, it was a good move by England, that. David Roecastle, the newcomer, provided the pass. It was beautifully delivered. The perfect ball in many ways. Harford got a contact on it, but so did the goalkeeper. Here's Bartram. Used to play for Glasgow Rangers last season. Now Mulvey. It's a useful-looking ball, and again Laudrup's made the run, and Shilton playing the part of outfield defender really there. This is Helt. Webb. Well, it was Jan Mulvey who told me last night that they were going to try playing Laudrup deeper to see if they could bring him from these sort of positions, and my word, it's certainly working. He got between the central defenders again for a moment there. Shilton saved it. And it was from Mulvey's pass as well. Here's Bartram. Forward by Adams. Harford, this is Beardsley. Harford, and Beardsley for the return. And Lars Olsen just blocked him. Beardsley interchanging here with Mick Harford, creeping in the other side of the defender, but Olsen just held him off. Forward by Bartram. And that's a handball by number 9, Kim Vilfort. Here's Webb. Roecastle. Robson to Stevens. Passing in this opening half hour, not all it might be. I'm sure that the England manager will have some thoughts on that. The game's a bit scrappy just at the moment. Looking for Harford, and Robson's well forward here. Can he get a shot in? Just lost his footing, regained it, and the drive by Webb, and a goal for England. It was well set up, really, by Bryan Robson, because he did all the work following a good header on the far side. He got away from Lars Olsen, the sweeper, tried to get it onto his left foot. It came off a defender, it was fisted out by the goalkeeper, and Webb drove it with his left foot into the back of the net. And so Neil Webb scores his second goal for England, and it came in the 28th minute. So that's the sort of encouragement that England were looking for. Bryan Robson typically foraging away there. Rasmussen punched it clear, but Webb's shot was unerring. Free kick to England. Now here's Webb and Beardsley. Beardsley spotted the goalkeeper there, straying a little, and wasn't afraid to try something quite ambitious. He's got that instinct, Beardsley, for seeing things like that. Here's Hodge. Well, Denmark opened very brightly here for 10 minutes or so, but since then England have got to grips with things and have looked the more threatening side in the last 25 minutes. And there are just 5 minutes left in the half. Webb's goal then, by which England lead. But he lost out there, rather, to Jan Molby. And here's Laudrup. Oh, that's well played. And the referee played an advantage there. Good challenge by Butcher in the end. And Robson is conducting things in just about every corner of the pitch at the moment. This is Roecastle. Forward by Adams. And Hansen lost that, Robson didn't, and got it inside to Beardsley. Again, good leadership by Bryan Robson. Going into the teeth of the opposing defence, chasing and then providing. It's good to see Robson in this mood. He's launching himself forward at every opportunity, and he means it. It's offside this time against Laudrup. He's got a good record for Denmark, 20 goals in 47 internationals. And the end of our first half, which for England turned out very decently after a somewhat untidy start. David Roecastle can be pleased with his first 45 minutes. Bryan Robson leading by example, and the only goal scored after 28 minutes by Neil Webb of Nottingham Forest. Chris Woods of Glasgow Rangers comes on for his 14th cap at the beginning of the second half as a substitute for Peter Shilton. Well, as the English season starts to gather pace, the Danish league season is almost over. They have just 7 league games to play, and Brøndby, the defending champions, for whom many of these players operate, are in fact 6 points clear again. Gascoigne hoping for a chance in the second half. Here's Butcher. Good to see him back in an England shirt. Good turn by Mick Harford. Gary Stevens up in support. Roecastle waiting in the centre now. Hodge is coming in, and there is Hodge, in fact. And the goalkeeper didn't make a very good job of it the first time, but he recovered to make an important save. Here's Robson. Harford, who initiated that last attack and has played pretty intelligently at times, spreading out. In fact, he did nicely in that last move. Gary Stevens' cross, the goalkeeper didn't deal with this very well. He was backpedaling. Hodge got half a foot on it, and then the keeper fell in front of him. Ideally, I suppose, Bobby Robson would have liked the second goal before he thought about bringing on substitutes who perhaps hadn't played a full international before. England can't afford to be complacent on this one-goal lead, because the Danes are still coming forward with Laudrup. And still, and he's going to go nearly all the way here, and a chance for Elstrup perhaps. Good approach play by Michael Laudrup, and Elstrup perhaps not quite making the most of the opportunity there. It wasn't the best of angles, but Laudrup did awfully well to turn it in, and he was challenged as he shot. Laudrup shaking off Bryan Robson and cutting that ball in. Beardsley. Roecastle. It's Roecastle again. Oh, he's earned the corner. Well done. Well, there's some movement on the England bench, but first of all we have a corner, which will be taken by Hodge, for which Butcher and Adams are again well forward. And Harford goes up, and Adams is in there, and it drops just past the post. I don't think Tony Adams was too far away there. The goalkeeper comes to meet Mick Harford initially, doesn't get a very good contact on it, then loses his way again, and it's Tony Adams who hooks it wide. All a bit of a scramble. Forward by Robson. Beardsley on to Roecastle. Harford's in the middle. So is Hodge here. So is Robson. Good support play by England. Now there's going to be some substitution activity here. Both teams are going to make a substitution. Tony Adams is going off for England to be replaced by Des Walker. And for Denmark, we're going to see Jan Heinze coming on in place of Bjørn Jensen. But from England's point of view, the story here is that Des Walker of Nottingham Forest has never played at Wembley before. It's his full international debut. And here's Steve Hodge, one of his teammates. Beardsley, he's in good company as Walker, because he's got Nottingham Forest colleagues in Pearce and Webb and Hodge. But for all that, Des Walker is actually a London boy. He was born in Hackney and lived his early life in Enfield. Heinze. Substitution number 3 by Bobby Robson. Nick Harford is going off, and Tony Cottee is coming on for his 4th cap. All of them have been as a substitute. There goes Cottee. Here's Pearce. Oh, that very nearly found Cottee just after he'd come on. It was a good ball by Pearce, this, whipped in, and Tony Cottee wasn't far away. Here's Walker. Now, Beardsley up against Nielsen. The flag is up. It's a free kick to Denmark. So the crowd figure tonight is 25,837, which means that England have comfortably exceeded their previous lowest here. Here's Lars Olsen. This is a time in the match when England would dearly love to earn themselves some daylight with the second goal, because they've had enough of the play, really, to have gone further ahead. They've got Tony Cottee on to add some freshness to the attack. But at the same time, Denmark is still doing enough to make 1-0 at times look a little insecure. Here's Pearce. Tony Cottee now, of course, from Everton. Ball, we're offside. England at times have been so keen to get their crosses in that they've been caught out more by the linesman's flag than by the Danish defence. Robson still chasing every possible cause. Here's Laudrup. Got it back from Mulby. Those two have... Oh, mistake by Butcher, and Elstrup is in here. The angle's not good. Laudrup's in support. It's Laudrup, and a saving tackle by Terry Butcher. Well, a mistake very nearly put Denmark back in the game there. Well, Terry Butcher made the initial error. There's no question about that. He allowed Elstrup in front of Woods, but look what Butcher does now. He chases back, and when it's pulled back to Michael Laudrup, it's Butcher that atones for his mistake. The England defence just at the minute is looking a little shaky. That's another corner to Denmark. Nielsen has now taken up a near-post position in front of Vilfort. And Nielsen is there, and it's hooked away by Beardsley to Cottee. England just needing a couple of minutes here to settle down again. Here's Cottee, offside again. But there's going to be another double substitution, and we're going to see Paul Gascoigne. Looks as though Peter Beardsley is going off to make way for Gascoigne to win his first full cap. Big moment for him. 21 years old. So, something of a Newcastle connection there, or they both used to be, of course, but Gascoigne of Spurs replaces Beardsley of Liverpool, and the Danes have brought on Bjorn Christensen, wearing number 14. And he's replaced Vilfort, and also on is Jorgensen, number 15. 5 minutes to go, and that substitution activity happened at once. The other Danish player to go off is Bartram, number 5. Well, England have put an end to the losing run which they went through in Germany. David Roecastle has reason to feel pleased with his full international debut as Bobby Robson and Sepp Piontek go off discussing their mutual feelings. The England manager victorious on this occasion by 1-0 as both build for the World Cup qualifiers. Tonight the only goal came in the first half from Neil Webb, and for both those men it was very much an evening of experiment with some new faces and a lot of substitutes on the pitch as well. The final score then, before a crowd of just under 26,000, was England 1, Denmark 0.
So we got the win that was really essential to the morale of the team. Let's discuss the various elements of that England performance, Jimmy. First of all, central defence, which you were going to keep a very close eye on at the start of the game. They gave us an early fright, didn't they?
Well, they did. It's almost as if they came being helpful to try and test us out and see how we reacted to it. And it was just one first-time pass that you can see here. There it is. There's the first-time touch that left Laudrup completely through the defence, and it was only Shilton's good positioning and coolness there that prevented a goal being scored. But we've seen already Terry Butcher's influence after he just made that mistake. We saw the replay there of him recovering and intercepting. But nevertheless, there was another example of that, and I'm very glad to see him back. He's back to his sharpness. Oh, there's the original mistake that he made, and it looks disastrous until the same man gets back there and slides that trusty left foot into that situation. So, you know, Terry Butcher, good news that he's back there. He'll make the other central defender play that much better as well. So that will be an improvement for us. Fullbacks, well, we know Gary Stevens and the young lad Pearce did particularly well. They're both good physical specimens, quick, strong, good, solid First Division fullbacks. They've got to grow into outstanding internationals by getting a little bit more confident on the ball. Both of them, you know, they look as if they're still learning. They look as if they don't deserve to have a share of the ball. When it's there, there's no danger. They've got it at their feet, and then let them pass it well.
Midfield, we certainly needed Bryan Robson back at his battling best, and we had that tonight, didn't we?
Well, we did. It was a different kind of midfield, but the captain, who's gone through a stormy time in more ways than one, was still there, making a chance here for Beardsley. There he is, surging through, past the last defender, flicks the ball inside. Beardsley hits it quickly, first time as he should have done, but that was the foraging Robson going into opponents' penalty areas when he's least expected, and either making a goal or taking one, as we've seen him do on many occasions. I mean, he's not finished as an international yet, by any means. He'll go on for some years to come.
And it was that kind of Robson influence that produced the goal as well,
He actually slipped, but the tenacity that you expect from a captain and from a player like that was there. Again, it's, he picks up this good header there from Harford, and he's running freely on. Not a very good attempt to clear by the defender, but he should have made better of this. Robson's battling, slips over, gets up again, chips it, doesn't quite come right, and that's not the best punch in the world. There's Webb with the thing he does best. He's a beautiful striker of the ball with both feet. It dropped on his left foot, bang, in the net. So that'll give him confidence next time round. Took
that superbly well. What about the other elements of midfield? David Roecastle, a fine debut.
Yes, he's got all the disciplines of a midfield player. He's been well taught at Arsenal, and what I like about him, he looks stylish. He looks an international when he's in possession of the ball. Nice silky movements. But I'd love to see him once in a while go more on the outside. He does tend to bring it inside more than I'd like. If he just balances it out, then he might be the perfect answer one day.
And up front, Beardsley and Harford. Beardsley is the kind of player with that really special instinct up front, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And Mick Harford did nothing wrong. I mean, if you had to go with him, you wouldn't worry, because he knows the game and he can play it. But Beardsley, I feel, is the one player we missed more than any as a goal maker or a goal taker in the Championship in Europe. Because look at him, look at the way he's looking there as he's running on that ball. Beautiful skill, pausing for a moment, sliding a ball inside. He's picked up the spare man, and one first-time pass puts in Roecastle. And that's the moment when Harford might have scored. He got there first, but the goalkeeper made a brave save. So Beardsley, the little diamond, the little gem, I thought that ran out of stamina, really, in the European Championship. But some things he did tonight worked, sometimes they didn't. But on the other hand, he's a key player for us, and he has to be sharp to unlock the kind of defences we have to play against.
So lots of pleasing things in that performance. Bobby Robson, the manager, was also pleased. But what options does he now have for the Sweden game coming up?
Well, I think he might leave the defence. I think he's gained a bit from that. I think Pearce will stay in there, look fairly solid. Maybe surprised that Peter Shilton was there again. I think a few people are, but his experience is invaluable. If he's sharp, you know, he can be as good as anybody. And so I don't see much happening there. Very interesting whether Waddle and Barnes come back on the flanks. I think one of them will, but it would be a brave Bobby Robson if he picked both of them again, bearing in mind what happened if they didn't come off. So I don't see many changes there. And Lineker, of course, hopefully back fully fit over the hepatitis and his injury to give us a fine victory over Sweden and make everybody smile once again.
That will be good, wouldn't it? Interesting point connected with that game is that the FA, in their 125th anniversary year, have extended an invitation to every former England player to attend that match as their guests, and contact the FA for further details if you are a former England player. Reminder of the details of England's next match, very important indeed, against Sweden at Wembley. The date is October the 19th, England's first World Cup qualifier. Coverage here on BBC television, but why not fill up those empty spaces at Wembley as well?